Hello, thank you for tuning in. Today we're going to learn a little bit about a very special president. Introducing the President of the United States of America. President John Tyler. Before we learn about his entire presidency, let's learn a little bit about his background. John Tyler was born in Charles City County, Virginia. He graduated from the College of William and Mary, and he got married twice due to the death of his first wife, Lydia Christian, in 1842. He is the only president to have gotten married while in the presidency. He had 15 children: Mary, Robert, John, Lydia, Elizabeth, Anne Countess, Alice, Tazewell, David Garnier, John Alexander, Julia Garnier, Lachin, Lyden Garnier, Robert Fitzwalter, and Pearl. Wow, he sure did have a lot of children. 15 in all.
Let me tell you a little story about a man named John Tyler. Born on March 29, 1790, he would become the first president to be born after the adoption of the Constitution. Raised within a successful family, Tyler received a great education and graduated from college at the age of 17. He served as a lawyer, congressman, senator, and governor. In 1840, he became the nation's 10th vice president, running alongside William Henry Harrison. After 1 month in office, President Harrison died of pneumonia. On June 1, 1841, Congress declared John Tyler the 10th president of the United States, becoming the first vice president to succeed the presidency. The incident eventually led to the creation of the 25th Amendment. Tyler's
Onto his first decision. Like we learned earlier, the president before President Tyler was President William Henry Harrison, who died after only 32 days as president. In the presidential minute, we learned that there was an amendment created that was the reason that he became president. However, it wasn't as easy as the president died and the vice president took over. At the time, that had never happened, although the writers of the Constitution had planned for it to go that way. Since it had never happened before, people were unsure about what needed to happen. Tyler felt that he should be president. However, the leader of the Whig Party strongly disagreed. This man was named Henry Clay. In Clay's mind, Tyler needed to do just as Harrison had done. He expected that they wouldn't skip a beat. Clay had been the one who really headed the decisions during Harrison's presidency, and thought that the same thing should happen for him. However, little did he know, Tyler had other plans. As the vice president, President Tyler felt that the Constitution gave him the full and unqualified powers of the office, so he had himself sworn in immediately. This strongly angered Clay. Not only did he have to deal with the slack from him, but from the nation. This decision was very criticized, and also led to him getting the title of the temporary president. Due to this, he did not have a vice president. Now on to John Tyler's second decision. Domestically, he did do other things, and one of the main things was that he's credited to making Texas a state, so you should love him, Texans. Texas at the time was, in a sense, stepping on eggshells. They were not completely separated from Mexico, and yet they were not completely joined at the hip with Mexico. Even though Texas had declared its independence from Mexico 5 years prior to Tyler becoming president, it wasn't completely separate. A political party had formed in the hopes of making Texas a state. Tyler saw this as his time to shine, and he felt that he could show the country that yet again he was not a temporary president. Texas, one of the largest states in the United States, was made with the help of Tyler. Tyler really again proved himself as a real president, especially where Texas was concerned. There were threats given from Mexico that if the U.S. did interfere, war could be declared. However, have no fear, Texas did become a state. This was one point where Henry Clay was helpful. He was the main person that debated it. And finally, peace was set. As you can see here, Mexico is completely separate from Texas. There's a very clearly defined borderline. And Tyler was the one that supported annexation of Texas, but its treaty was defended by the state. And peace and friendship was finally declared. Good job, John Tyler. Foreign affairs. John Tyler's first affair, the Asian Pacific trade. President John Tyler made it possible to have the same trading abilities as Britain. He sent a very important diplomatic mission to China. After several long conversations, the U.S. had the same commercial trading abilities as Britain. The Webster-Ashburn Treaty of 18. This treaty is also known as the Treaty of 1842. The treaty itself was negotiated by Secretary of State Daniel Webster. Now, what were the results of this treaty, you may ask? It did the following. It settled a long-time feud with England, and the territory where Maine ended was clearly defined, as you can tell by this map diagram shown. It was negotiated again by Daniel Webster, the Secretary of State. Now, let's look at the results. In the end, 7,005 square miles were given to the United States, and 512 square miles were given to Great Britain. The boundary line that was determined was through the Great Lakes and the Woods and Lake of the Woods. Open navigation was freely given. And I would like to say thank you to Me for Research, Me for Voice Recording, Google for Images, Miller Center for the Presidential Information, Ms. Martin for the Computer Lab, St. John Fisher School for the use of the computers, Riley for editing advice, and Mr. Stalls as the teacher and help.